We could survive that. We could survive that. We could survive it. Hello and welcome to We Could Survive That, your survival guide to the movies. I'm Jack, and today I'm joined by a man who's just woken up from hypersleep, which explains why he's so slimy and greasy. It's Chris.
I thought you were going to say it explains why he's so tired. Why slimy and greasy? Why do you get slime when you're in hypersleep?
Maybe it's like jelly that they put on you to preserve your skin while you're in a hypersleep.
Well, that's not the point. The hypersleepers, you just freeze anyway. Have you not seen Alien? They don't have any jelly crap on them. They just sleep and they're fine. Avatar is another good example of a functioning hypersleep. What other films? I can't think of any at the top of the moment, but there's hypersleep in loads of films, and they never get any weird gunky goo shit on them.
Yeah, but this film that we're talking about this week, Chris, Pandorum from 2009, directed by Christian Alvar, is the exception to the rule, Chris, because they come out and they're all slimy and, got extra layers of skin on them.
Yeah, I didn't know if that was an extra layer of skin. That looks more like a weird membrane that sort of formed over them while they're in there.
No, I think it's skin.
Is it like just old skin that's died and shedded off? Ugh.
Well, yeah, it's just not rubbed off. You've not had a wash or anything, so it's just built up. So you've got an extra inch of just dead skin clinging to you. Ugh.
Oh, that's not very nice hypersleep, is it? Although maybe it's because in the film they believe they've been in hypersleep for 8 years, but I think they've been in there for much, much longer.
Couple of hundred years.
Exactly, so maybe it built up after that long, but if you have your standard hypersleep rotation, perhaps it's not going to build up that much.
Yeah, you don't get as slimy. You don't have to shed 3 pounds of skin or however much it is.
Or maybe
Jeez.
It's like soup, how it gets too hot and you get like the skin, you don't stir it enough and the skin forms on top. Maybe it's like that. They weren't stirred enough in their hypersleep. There's many maintenance teams that turn up and sort of shake their pods around so they bang around and sort of stay loose and limber.
Yeah, we're doing sci-fi horror, Chris. This completes our inadvertent trilogy of films where the main characters have a case of the forgetsies.
Okay, Pandorum. The last one was Secret Obsession. There was Amnesia in the film before that?
Resident Evil. There was gas-based amnesia. Then there was head trauma amnesia, and now this is sleep for 900 years based amnesia. So many various different ways that you can incorporate a case of the forgetsies into your film.
You can just wake up one day and have the forgetsies, as you say. It's not as interesting as 900-year-old sleep one, but still, though, it can happen.
Yeah, I mean, forgetting where your car keys are doesn't count, though.
Oh, well, I mean, you said forgetsies. Anything counts as forgetsies.
True. So, Pandorum, had you seen this film before I said, hey, Chris, let's do a trilogy of forgetful films?
I mean, you never said let's do a trilogy of forgetful films. We did one, then another, and then another. But I forgot that the others were Amnesia ones. See what I did there? Yeah, that's because we're pros. But anyway, back to your question. I've seen bits of this film before. Like the second half of the film, I didn't remember the creatures running around. I remembered a lot of crawling around. I remembered some slime. And I can remember the ending shot of Dennis Quaid's character sitting there in the chair in the water all splashing around him. And that was about it. But I knew there was going to be a twist in it. I knew there was some hallucinating going on. I didn't realize Pandorum was the name of the possible disease or
space madness.
Yeah, space madness you get from the sleep thing. I forgot that. I thought it was the name of the ship. But no, the ship's called Elysium. Not to be confused with the Matt Damon film. That's also called Elysium. That has a similar context.
It's very confusing. Do you know what Elysium stands for or means, Chris?
Is it like a Greek god or something?
I think it's Greek for a peaceful place or something, a new start, something like that. I looked it up and I forgot it immediately. I'm sorry.
Amnesia.
Peaceful state. It's forgetsies in Greek.
Yeah, I don't think Elysium is forgetsies in Greek.
It's like a new start. It's something like that. Peaceful state. I don't know. It's not very peaceful on the ship though, Chris. It's a bloody madhouse in there, isn't it? Crazy shit going on all over the place.
Well, I don't know. I get the feeling that a lot of the spaces in that ship you could find that would be quite relaxing and solitude, and you can lose your mind in peace and quiet. However, the main characters keep running into the fucking mutated humans that are high on enzymes.
Yeah. Premise of the film is that two crew members wake up on the Elysium. Peyton, played by Dennis Quaid, and Bauer, played by Ben Foster. They wake up, they've got no memory of who they really are or what they do or why they're on this giant spaceship. They sort of remember ranking and stuff on the crew, what their jobs are. Bauer's a mechanic of some sort. They've been awoken from hypersleep because the generator, the power source on the ship's going into a bit of a fluctuation and they need to sort it out. But yeah, spooky monsters on the ship, Chris, and a bit of space madness.
That pretty much sums up Pandorum, yes.
Yeah, but it's good. I know you could sum it up in the dumbest terms imaginable, space madness and monsters, but it's good.
Well, I mean, I enjoyed it because it combines sci-fi and horror. What's not to not like? And there's also,
That's a lot of knots.
That's a lot of knots. I'm pretty sure I've done the knots in the wrong way then. I've probably done a double negative bollocks, but who cares? It's all madness, baby. And and then, yeah, you got your derelict ship, you got your creepy atmosphere, you got your sci-fi monsters, you got everything you could ask for. But the film did not get that many good reviews. There were some reviews that said it was good, others that said it was quite dull. It scored a very low Rotten Tomatoes score. It lost money. It did not make back the money that they spent on the budget on it.
Yeah, I think that's because they didn't advertise it that well. I don't know what studio made it, but I think they put a lot of money. They didn't budget for advertising. I think that's where they went wrong. They forgot that they have to get butts into seats, so didn't promote it as well as they probably should have done. But yeah, it's gotten fan support. People want there to be a sequel. There will not be a sequel. There doesn't need to be a sequel because this is a good standalone film. But I appreciate the passion behind it, Chris, because this is a solid effort.
Yeah, of course it needs a sequel. Why wouldn't it? It's set up perfectly for a sequel. I mean, although I wasn't a fan of the ending. I'm going to be honest. The very ending scene, which we'll get onto. But let's rewind here, kids, and go back to the start of the film. What do you do when you wake up from hyperspace on a creepy ass ship and you got no memory? You do the first thing that every man should do. You have a shave with an electric or laser razor, which was amazing. I was captivated by this scene. How clean his skin looked afterwards. No stubble either. That was very impressive.
I mean, technically, the first thing he does is pull off a inch-thick layer of skin.
Yeah, but that's not the interesting part. Let's skip over the dull moments of him pulling off this gruesome stuff and pulling wires out of his body, and you're thinking, oh, those effects look good on him and how they've done all that. Let's skip over that and let's just talk laser razors.
Do you want to talk him vomiting, pulling himself off of that giant spike thing that's plugged into his spine?
I don't think that was plugged in his spine. That was attached to a holster thing just to hold him upright, weren't it? Because he breaks it and falls down like an idiot. Whereas when the other guy comes out, it lowers him out of it properly and then puts him down on the ground like it should. He's breaking company equipment, this Bauer guy. He's got no respect for it.
Well, he ends up fixing it in the end. He's a mechanic of some sort. So yeah, he gets out. He does the laser razor thing, which you love.
I was amazed by it. I was just like, look how smooth his skin is afterwards, and oh, there was no smoke in the air, no singeing of the whiskers, as it were.
I bet it smelled of burning hair though, as he was doing it.
Do you reckon? I don't think it did. I think this thing was designed not to smell either. That's why they had it on board. They were like, we're sending this ship off. Humanity's doomed. This ship has to go find a new Earth-like planet. Give them laser razors.
The one comfort of home, laser razors. Yeah.
Precisely.
Yeah, he and Peyton wake up on the ship. Everything's down. They can't even get into the driving room. What do you call it? The bridge.
The bridge. Oh, wow. You're going to definitely survive this sci-fi horror, aren't you? We got to get to the driving room, damn it. Yeah, they can't get out of the room that they're in. They're team 5 of the flight crew, and what's going to happen is team 4's meant to be there when they wake up to sort of help them get through their disorientation, get them up to speed on what's happening, and then I assume that did team 4 go into hypersleep?
Yes, because the voyage that they're on is estimated to take 150 40-ish years. A long time, so you need to take it in turns. That was the idea, but no one's awake when Peyton Bauer wake up, so they're left scrambling in the dark. Bauer has to crawl through some ducts to get to the rest of the ship, whilst Peyton stays in the control room on comms, basically giving him instructions and, trying to get the lay of the land, so to speak. But yeah, there are monsters on board, Chris. Vicious, humanoid, pale-skinned, weird-eyed hunting party monsters.
Yes. My first thing when I saw them, I paused the film and I turned to my girlfriend and went, I bet these are the descendants of the crew. I bet the other crew members woke up hundreds of years ago and these are the mutated descendants. And I was wrong. They are not the descendants of the crew and of the people on the ship. They are the other people on the ship their bodies have absorbed these enzymes, which they were meant to get when they landed on the new planet to help them adapt to the atmosphere and stuff. But instead, these people have adapted to life on the ship, which makes you into a pale-skinned, agile, strong mutant.
Yeah. I mean, we're like 900 years in. To spoil the film, we're like 900 years in, so they wouldn't be all the original crew. They would be...
Well, yeah, they've been breeding, haven't they? So they are crew descendants. I was right.
Yeah, they are crew descendants, but horribly maddened. So as things progress, Bauer meets up with other survivors, and he pieces together what happened, that on the second shift of the Elysium's journey, the crew got some bad news that Earth was destroyed and that everyone on Elysium were the last humans in existence. We don't know how Earth got destroyed, but one of the crew members didn't take it particularly well, and he went space mad and killed the other two people that he was on rotation with, and then started messing around with the life pods and the enzymes. He created the mutant hunters, and then went, well, job's a good one, put himself back to sleep, and then woke up 900 years later and forgot that he did this. And it turns out, Chris, plot twist, one of two plot twists in this film, that it was actually Peyton who was on the second rotation and caused all of the horrible monsters to be created, and then he woke up at the beginning of this film and forgot that he was a bad guy, but then slowly remembers that he went space mad
by dueling with a younger version of himself that he's hallucinating. When this guy turns up, because Peyton, like you said, is in the control room, and when this younger guy turns up, and I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be a hallucination, this is going to be him, isn't it? And then the guy's puts on a suit that says Peyton on it as well, which, is just Peyton giving out one of his clothes to keep this other guy warm. But I was like, nah, it's a younger version of him. It's going to be hallucinating.
I think the younger guy actually has Gallo on his suit. That's Peyton's actual name before he went space mad, I think.
No, it says, I paused it. It says Peyton on his suit.
Okay.
I thought, oh, maybe this is the film of trying to go, oh, look, this guy's wearing a suit called Peyton. Oh, maybe it's him. And I was like, oh, I've clocked onto this. It is him, isn't it?
Should have been a giveaway that they were the same size.
Exactly. Although when they're face to face, I paused it and went, maybe they're not the same person. They've got different nose structures, completely different nose structures. Your nose doesn't change that much just because you've aged. So I was looking at it going, oh, maybe it's not him. And I thought, oh, wait, no, maybe it is him. To be honest, I thought it was the other guy, Bauer, because he's starting to suffer the effects of Pandorum as well. He's got the handshakes, which apparently how it starts off. I was like, oh, maybe he's the crazy one. Maybe he's been sabotaging the ship. Because I figured out, I was like, one of them's going to be sabotaging. There's going to be a plot twist. You said there was two. Is it the second plot twist that the ship has actually been on the planet the whole time?
Yeah, so it turns out that the ship is well enough run, its systems or AI or whatever are well managed enough that the ship could find the new planet and land itself without any of the crew members helping. I mean, it does land in the ocean, so maybe probably it did a little. But yeah, it landed there safe, and they've been sat at the bottom of the sea for, 800 years or so?
Yeah, if it took 123 years to get there, then it's like total flight time's been 950-something years, however long it is. So yeah, they've been at the bottom of the ocean for about 800 years, and the ship is held together very well.
Yeah, I mean, the entry must have been controlled well enough, because the actual space station was designed to be like a lab as well, and like a home base too. So you land somewhere and then you can repopulate the planet with Earth animals, and it can be your home base until you set up villages and stuff like that on the new planet. So, and space and underwater, when you're designing something for that, it's the same principles. You want them to be airtight, so the vacuum of space can't get in and the cold water of the ocean can't get in. So the principles are the same. And they did say it was designed to outlive several generations of the crew's descendants as well. So, I buy it.
Oh, well, no, it did very well then. Well done, engineers. You created a great ship. Bad Pandorum for fucking it up, though.
Yeah.
The horrible irony of this film is that they go through this film, that the reactor's in its final stages of shutting down. It's going to explode or melt down. It's going to wipe out the ship and that lot. They got to battle off mutants going crazy and to get this reactor going back on, and other crew members who have gone a bit mad themselves and like cannibal and all that lot. But all they had to do was eject the escape pods, and they all would have been fine anyway. They could have fucked the whole ship off.
But the thing is that Peyton tells a story about another ship where one of the crew members had Pandorum, and he ejected everyone out into space, and they were basically lost, trapped in their pods, waiting to die from starvation, because you can't open the pods. They're quite difficult to break out of. So he was worried that if they'd done that, then they'd be lost in space. They didn't know that they were on a lovely planet, and they would have just suffered the bends.
The bends?
Yeah, when you resurface too quickly. I'm not sure how deep down they are. Maybe the pods would have protected them from the bends. They pressurized.
That's what I was thinking. The pods would have protected them. I know, but that's the horrible irony of the ship. I mean, you could of the film, that at the end it's revealed that all they had to do was eject the pods and they would have been fine. But I suppose you could argue that the ship is carrying an arc of all the DNA of Earth, animals, plants, all that lot. So had the ship been destroyed, they would have lost all that, because they're probably going to need that to help repopulate the Earth, or Tanis, or this new planet. Which is where the second film comes in, because they're going to have to dive back down into the ship and still fight off a load of mutants to get back into that room to bring everything back up to the surface.
Most of them would have drowned, I'm sure. Also, there is no second film, Chris. It's been years. They are not making a second one.
That's what you think. I'm funding it. I'm going to get the Asylum are going to back me up. They're the people that are going to produce it.
Why would you do that?
Pandorum too, because it's going to be amazing.
No, there is a Facebook page for people wanting a second one of these. So go join that, Chris. Go lend your support.
I don't use the facing books, man. You know this.
Well, it's their loss. No.
Precisely. If they had my backing behind it, Pandorum 2 would be out in theaters next year.
You would do bugger all. That lower the credibility of their movement. But no, I like that twist ending. I like that it ended mostly happy with 1,000+ people managing to escape the ship, and they get to start a new life on this planet with zero resources.
They got plenty of resources there, but I mean, loss of life was pretty decent in this film. They had 1,600 people on this ship, and the population at the end of the film was 1,213. That is really good. So they did not lose that many people at all in the film.
I thought it was like 60,000 people on the ship.
No, was it 16,000? Was it?
I don't know how. It was a lot. They lost a good chunk.
I can't remember now, to be honest. I may have just watched the film, but I forgot the numbers anyway. I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but it wasn't. They lost more than they saved, because we don't know how long Peyton was awake meddling with people. I don't know how old Dennis Quaid was when this film happened and how old young Gallo was. So I could have done the maths, but I didn't. Yeah. Chris. Yeah.
Survival tips.
Run from the mutants. If you see one of the mutant children, you kill it. You don't go, oh, it's a child, I can't kill it because it's going to slit your throat. I was shouting at the TV when Well, I was shouting at Manu, the agriculture warrior that was on the ship, when he fought one of the mutants and he killed it, and the kid turned him. I was like, "Oh God, kill it! Just kill the child!" And he's like, going to, and he doesn't. I was like, "Oh, you're dead!" And then the kid pulls out a knife or some sort of dagger and slits his throat. And I was like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, typical!" And it just kill the kid. It's a mutant kid. Don't matter if it's a kid, you kill it.
I like that the hunter leader there who like threw him a weapon. Was like, we're gonna fight fairly for like the dominance of each of our respective races. So that was good. I mean, it didn't pay off so well for that hunter, but Manu, he did well. I mean, they did a good job in building up the threat of the mutant hunters, because it took 3 of them to take down one in their first encounter. So that was like, shit. How is he going to take out this guy mano a mano? But he does it, Chris.
Damn right he does it, because he's a badass in this film. He fucking when he saves Bowers, doesn't he? Because Bowers running from these mutants, and he gets caught in like a tripwire, and he's hanging upside down. These mutants over a ledge, and the mutants are trying to pull him back up. And Manu runs up there and grabs hold of a thing, pulls himself up so he's like hanging upside down, and cuts the wire and gets the guy out. Fucking brilliantly done.
Exactly. It's much better than how Bauer saves Norman Reedus' character, Shepard, when he's hanging. He cuts him down, and then Shepard doesn't offer him much help or anything, basically leaves Bauer to fend for himself, and then Shepard repays him by getting strung up again and then cut open and eaten alive by the hunters.
This Shepard character, who, when I first saw him, and I was like, oh, that's the thing. I couldn't think of Norman Reedus' name, but I was like, oh, it's him.
The zombie guy.
And I was like, yes, it's zombie dude. And I couldn't think of his name. And afterwards, I was like, oh yeah, Norman Reedus. But if he's been strung up once, you think he'd take more care not to be strung up a second time.
Yeah.
But he knows there's booby traps around. He knows when you see him, you run. Pay more attention to your fucking surroundings. You know there's a booby trap. So when
also, strength in numbers as well. He should have stayed with Bauer.
Well, again, is it though? It would be easier to hide from these things when you're on your own, probably in the dark, rather than 2 of you hiding. Because what if you're hiding? I hate it when people hide together and one's stealthy, like hiding, and the other one's there going, hyperventilating. You're like, shut the fuck up, sort of thing. Whereas if
would
you're
be you though. You'd be the hyperventilating one.
I would. I'd be saying to myself, "Shut the fuck up," and then they would hear me saying that, because I'd be breathing and telling myself to shut up.
Then everyone would turn to you and go, "Shut the fuck up!
Shut the fuck up!"
Shut the fuck up, telling yourself to shut the fuck up.
Okay, sorry. Sorry. There's everything hiding in numbers. If you are found, you can push whoever you're hiding with in front so they get eaten while you escape. You always need to have sort of cannon fodder with you to survive.
Or you could team up and fight back to back.
Nah, that's not my style. You may want to do that and be like, tally ho, motherfuckers, and like go back to back, but nah, I'm too cool for that. I get the fuck out of there.
Tally ho. That's going to be my new war cry from now on. Tally ho. Yeah. Norman Reedus. Any survival tips for him? I mean, like you said, he should have learned.
Precisely, to avoid your things. And when the other guy cuts you down, you stick with the other guy until it becomes more feasible to live on your own, and you've got someone to sacrifice.
And also share information as well. Be nice. He did just save you. Maybe tell him what you know.
Yeah, I suppose. I know they say information is power. Unless you're fighting a mutant, in which case a spear is power.
Or telling someone with a wrist rocket stun gun thing that, hey, there's lots of them. Stealth is our best option.
I mean, to be honest, he does sort of say to him, he's like, you see him, you run. That's the best survival advice you can get against these things. You just leg it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Norman Reedus' character, Shepard, he did help. He gave the best advice in the film, which is run and save yourself.
Yeah, running is key. What if you can't run, Chris, though? What if you wake up fresh from a nice hypersleep nap and your pod opens and there's 1,000 of them and they just eat you immediately?
Yeah, I felt so sorry for that guy. When it opened up, and I was like, oh no, this thing gonna be good. And then the pod pushes him out in his little harness thing, like basically offering him up. And I was like, oh, this guy's fucked. He got a quick death, though, didn't he? The one above spears him down to the head. It speared him in the back of the head. So he was dead when they started eating him. Imagine if he hadn't been speared in the head and he's alive while they're feast upon your flesh. Ugh.
He's aware long enough for it to be shit your pants terrifying.
Yeah, but he's going to be so disorientated from it, he doesn't really know what's going on. At least he's not going to be too aware of what it is. It's just noise and colours and sounds at that point.
Maybe if the pod had malfunctioned and the door hadn't opened, he would have been safe.
I mean, yeah, he would have been if he'd woke up and the pod hadn't have opened, but then he would have pulled off his mask, been trapped in the pod and starved to death.
It wouldn't have, though, because Bauer would have saved the day.
I mean, yeah, the pod would have probably ejected. I mean, I don't know how those pods would eject, though, because it's like sticking out the floor. So does it go down into the floor and then shoot out? It can't just fire up into the ceiling, can it? Because it'll smash into the top.
Well, it's attached to something, and the ship design there's bits of it that are like a donut, so it might be in one of those bits, mightn't it?
Okay, I get you, and then it just sort of shoots them all over the place.
Yeah, shoots out the bottom, and then the air in the cylinder acts as a buoyancy to take it up to the surface.
See, that might be what it is. But how unlucky is that, though? Why did it have to open up just as they are running past? I mean, goddamn.
I know. We're putting that down to Bauer accidentally killing that man, who is actually played by Ben Foster's brother.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Oh, God, no wonder he's so desperate to save him. He's like, oh, Christ, I forgot my brother's on this ship as well. No!
Well, a big part of this thing is that Bauer thinks that his wife's on the ship, and she's not because she didn't want to go into space, because space is scary, but she ended up staying behind and presumably dying when the Earth blew up or whatever happened to Earth.
Yeah, so, I mean, in a way, they say in the film, she saved you because she broke up with you, so you were like, oh, fuck this, I'm going to enlist and go into space. So, well done to her. She saved his ass.
Yeah, and she didn't have to put up with what I'm assuming are his bad habits. Maybe he forgot anniversary dates and things like that. Maybe he didn't cook her breakfast in bed. What I'm saying is, Chris, maybe Bauer's a bad bloke.
What I'm saying is that Bowers used his laser shaver too much when they were together. She's like trying to watch a film and she's like, I can smell burning flesh again. He's like, look, honey, I got a new laser razor. This one's even hotter, like peeling off layers of skin because he's obsessed with the cleaner shave.
She liked a man with a beard, and he had a beard when they first met, and then he became addicted to the laser razor. And
she catches him like lasering his legs over the bathtub. She's like, oh, Bowers, you bastard, not again. Stop laser razoring. And he's like, it feels so good.
He's a very smooth boy.
Yeah.
Because of the power of the laser razor. No, so Bauer gets the reactor online, and he gets back to the bridge just in time for Peyton to go full space mad and start raving and going, I've created new life, and these are the best humans because they eat other humans. And he's been through a lot, and he's on the edge of succumbing to Pandorum and space madness, so much so that he starts seeing things. He has a bit of a scuffle with Peyton, so does another survivor, Nadia, who does most of the fighting in this scene, basically, whilst Bauer struggles with his inner demons, and then they figure out that they've been on the planet the whole time. Bauer hallucinates that he's seeing one of the hunters coming through a panel, shoots it. It's not real. There's a bit of shrapnel that breaks the glass and floods Elysium, and Bauer and Nadia manage to make it onto a pod, whilst Peyton just grumpily sits in the captain's chair and drowns in a bit of a huffy sulk.
Huffy sulk, like, damn it, they're ruining my perfect world.
Yeah.
Now, this scene, though, is, like you said, Bowers, he shoots out what he thinks is a hunter coming in, and it knocks off some shrapnel that hits the glass that starts to crack. That's bullshit. This glass is designed to be flown through space. Yes, it's got a protective metal shield over it which can be retracted, which it was in this scene. But this glass is meant to be super thick, because it's got to withstand the icy coldness of space and, entering a planet and leaving a planet and all this stuff. And yet a tiny fucking bit of metal hits it and it cracks. Not just a bit, the whole thing cracks and then shatters. How? How can that be possible?
Maybe the outside is protected with like layers of stuff, and maybe over the 900 years it's slowly decayed away. The protections disappeared or gone out of date or whatever. I don't know. I think glass is usually quite durable because it doesn't rust or anything like that. So
There you go. Or maybe
I
the
don't know.
inside of the glass was designed to break easy. Maybe they got one of those little emergency hammers on the side.
Yeah.
Like you get in a bus if a bus rolls over and you got to shatter the glass to get out. Maybe
Exactly.
it's like that. No, I'm calling bullshit. That's not right. You just fucking.
No.
I don't think there's going to be any glass on a shuttle that you can just easily break from the inside.
Maybe if you look close enough, Chris, you'll see that little detail of a break glass in case of emergency hammer.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, fucking, what if they're playing basketball up there and they throw the ball and it hits the glass? And you're like, oh, fuck, now it's going to crack and break open.
Basketball's not sharp. Those hammers are designed to cause maximum impact on as small a surface area as possible. That's how they work.
All right, that's for the hammer, though, but this thing breaks because a bit of fucking metal bangs into it.
Sharp?
It doesn't matter. That is not safe glass. Okay, you can argue that, yes, maybe the glass has deteriorated over the 800 years it's been submerged, but it had a protective fucking shield over it. So the water wasn't even getting to the glass.
Maybe the metal was corroding it.
No, this glass should not have broken that easily from a tiny little fucking bit of metal whacking into it. Oh, now I'm thinking more
Chris,
about it and it's pissed me off more. That glass should not have broke.
Did you want Bauer to live?
Do I want Bauer to live?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's an alright guy.
Did the plot convenience make the film better?
Oh, what, the ship flooding itself?
Yeah.
I mean,
Did it make
maybe. Well, no, actually, I'm annoyed there were so many survivors at the end. When it popped up, and I was like, oh, this film is pretty depressing. Earth's been destroyed. It's all gone to shit on the ship. There's 2 survivors left. Maybe they can make some sort of little life together before they both die of old age. And then it pops up all the other people surviving. It's like, oh, great.
Ending 1,000?
1,213, but that still was a little bit too happy for me.
Out of... What's your happy number, then? And by happy, I mean your grisly and depressing number.
Them 2.
Just 2.
Done. Just 2. Just done. Go on, you can be for this as the hardship, but all those other people survived. The glass on their fucking escape pods was all fine in that lot, but the glass on the outside of the ship, which should be more important, apparently isn't.
Well, Chris, if only 2 people survived, then you definitely weren't getting your Pandorum sequel that you're not getting anyway.
Well, there you go then, so they could have just had 2 survive.
But they were planning on making a trilogy. I don't know what the other 2 films would have been like, but, one's enough for me.
Okay, well, fine, but I would have liked the second one, because they could have made it all about getting back down to the ship, and then maybe some mutants escaped, and they come up, and then they've got to have a battle with the mutants on land who are riding the sea creatures. I like the sea creatures in it, the glowing sea creatures.
It's just jellyfish. We got jellyfish here.
Yeah, but those jellyfish were cool. They're not as cool looking as our jellyfish. They were huge, those things.
You're a big jellyfish here. Go outside, Chris. You'll be amazed at what you can see.
You're telling me there's glowing jellyfish on this planet? I thought it was only in other things.
No, there's loads of wonders, Chris. The wonders of Mother Nature. If you've learnt anything from this episode, it's stop listening to it and go outside. I mean, not now. There's a pandemic on and Mother Nature is actively trying to kill you and everyone else. But, once things have calmed down, respect the power of nature and, email us.
Are you saying this is like the happening?
No. Not like The Happening.
What? No.
This is nothing like The Happening, Chris. This is serious business. Stay in and email us, wecouldssurvivethat@gmail.com, or tweet us at wecouldssurvive with your thoughts on Pandorum. Did you like it? Have you seen it? Do you think it's underappreciated? Are you one of the people on the support Pandorum, give it a sequel, it's actually a good film Facebook page? I don't actually know the Facebook page, but let us know. Next week, Chris, we are staying in the realms of horror once more.
Ooh, we are? What are we doing?
Chris,
yes.
What is the deadliest piece of furniture you can think of?
Oh, for fuck's sake. We're not doing that killer couch thing, are we?
I found a horror film called Killer Sofa, and I've thought of nothing else since discovering it was a film and that I needed to watch it. So, yeah, I I know nothing about it, and I've dreamed of such silliness my whole life. Or maybe it's really good. Maybe it's Oscar worthy. I don't know.
I
I'm
really don't
watching
think it is. I can recommend you a far superior creature feature film already.
Nope, I've made up my mind, Chris.
Oh,
We've done a
God.
trilogy of forgetful films. Now we're going to do a trilogy of batshit insane films, starting with Killer Sofa. I'm very excited.
Yes, I can tell. I'm. Oh God, I'm just accepting it. Fine, let's do Killer Sofa.
Yay! We're all excited, Chris. Everyone's excited.
Oh boy, I can't wait for Killer Sofa.
We'll end this show, and then next week's show will be around even quicker than you can believe.
Oh crikey! Well, in that case, thank you to everybody who has been listening to We Could Survive That, your weekly survival guide to the movies with ships with poorly built windows. We're going to see you next week for Killer Couch. It's going to be awful, but until
Sofa.
then. Oh God! Okay, we'll see you next week for Killer Sofa. See, I can't remember the title. That's how meaningless this film is to me. But we'll see you next week.
We started this episode by praising the shipbuilders for making Pandorum. Not Pandorum, from making Elysium. And now you're ending it by saying that they're bad construction people.
Yeah, because that's a major design flaw, isn't it? Why would you... I'm not getting into this with a window again. I'm fucking silly, stupid plot convenient thing. The film's great, apart from that one scene that doesn't make any sense in the ending. Anyway... We'll see you all next week for Killer Sofa Couch, whatever it is. But until then, keep on surviving. Goodbye and good night.